Like many people, I went out last night and I took pictures of the aurora. It was a spectacular show here in North America, probably around the world. And I got some photos that I liked very much, and I thought I would try to enhance them using Lightroom so that we could see them a little bit better. I've taken the raw files, which are NEF out of the Nikon camera, and I've put some of my selects here into a folder. You can see that over here. I've opened it up in Lightroom. Now I'm doing this locally just for speed purposes. A lot of folks will use cloud, and at the end of the day, maybe I'll put them in the cloud. But there's a few things that you can do really quickly to get some pretty spectacular results out of the pictures that you might have taken, either with a DSLR or even with your phone. So let's take a look at some of these right now as they come out of the camera. We can see if we zoom in that we've got stars. I've got a little bit of trail there. This is all handheld, so it is what it is. I'm not too upset about that. But I also have this foreground, and if I start to take some like overall measures, like just adjust the exposure, what that's going to do is also bring up the trees, and I don't want that. I want to end up with the exposure of the sky being adjusted, but I want to leave the trees and any of the building and so on. I want to leave them alone. So we'll undo that exposure, and we're going to show you how to use the masking inside of Lightroom, which is awesome. If you switch to the mask tool right here, you can pop that open, and you'll see that you have some automatic choices such as sky, and it's perfect for this application. So we'll go and we'll tap select sky. It's finding the sky, and it's actually done a bang-up job of finding the sky. So all the red is where the sky is. Now that we've got a mask, we can start working with it. And the first thing I'm going to do is to adjust the exposure up. And then I'm also going to play a little bit with the color. So if I move down to saturation, I can increase the saturation. And then the next thing I want to do is to introduce a little bit of dehaze. That will make it a little bit clearer. And then perhaps we will last go down into the noise reduction zone. So if I zoom in on this area, you can see, whoops, we'll do that. Okay, you can see quite a bit of artifacts that are coming off of the sensor. And if I add noise reduction, then you can see that those start to diminish, but it really doesn't do much other than blur out the pixels. It seems to be what it's doing. So we are going to undo that adjustment, and we're going to leave it alone for now. So at this point, I'm feeling pretty happy with the result. We'll zoom back out. There we go. And it's nice and bright. My foreground remains the same. If I switch out of the mask now and into overall adjustments, there we go. Now, if I went and exported this right now to JPEG, then what I would get is this noise. And I'm not all excited about this noise. So what I'm going to do is to take advantage of a great feature inside of Lightroom, which is noise reduction, and it's going to use artificial intelligence from Adobe to remove the noise and perhaps reveal some details that we might not have seen before. So we'll send it off to denoise. This is going to fire up the denoise function, and it's going to give me an opportunity to make some adjustments. And so you can see how the background is changing. I can increase the amount of noise reduction as I go along, maybe jack it up a little bit more, and you can see it's starting to smooth it out, but I can still see these features, which is cool. So that's what I'm going to pick. And what this is going to do is it's going to send the image off, or it's going to get instructions from Adobe as to what to do, and then it will apply them, and we will see a change in a net new image. So it's going to produce a new digital negative file. It will have all the adjustments in it, and that thing will open shortly. So you can see here in my folder, there's my XMP sidecar for the NEF file, but now it's produced a DNG, and the DNG contains all of what we've done with the XMP. So it's got the mask in there, it's got the adjustments and so on, but the underlying image is now this noise reduced image. So let's go take a look at it. You'll see it showed up right here. And yeah, this is awesome. So not only am I getting the benefit of the noise taken out, but that does reveal some of the stars that I might not have seen otherwise in the sky and makes this so much more vivid as an image. We can do the same thing. We'll pick another one here that's got a decent sky on it. This one here is nice and, well, how about that one there? We'll do this one here, okay? And you can see there's quite a bit of tie-dye looking thing in the sky. So we'll take that very same application. So the first thing we're going to do is to create the sky mask, which takes very little time. Then we're going to increase the exposure in the sky. And then the next thing we're going to do is to increase the saturation. Now we're starting to look pretty solid. We want to go and knock a little bit of dehaze into it. And then the last thing we're going to do is, well, we're going to go and denoise it. So we'll go back over here and we'll send it off to denoise. We're going to leave that setting the same, and then we'll roll. You might not like the amount of denoise. Go ahead and play with it to your heart's content. Depending on your sensor and your settings for ISO, you may or may not see that type of noise. But if you are, do take advantage of this feature because the result is astounding. So this is going to pop up here shortly. There it is. And there's the result. And again, these stars that we wouldn't necessarily see or are hard to see in the original image become quite prominent suddenly. And not only that, you can see that these things have color. You know, there's color in here. Slight color. That one's a little redder than that, and that one's definitely blue. This is really amazing. So I can't wait to print these pictures now that I've done that. So the last thing we have to do, of course, is to export our processed images. And so I've got this new one, and I've got this one, and we can then go and export them. And we'll send them off to the export function. This will give me some opportunities to make some choices as to what I'm going to do with them. So we'll export to JPEG. I want them at full size. And I haven't attached any metadata yet, but we'll say all metadata. And then we will export them. Where are they going to go? We'll make a new folder just for safety. Actually, that's not where I want to put it. We're going to go up here to the NEF folder. We'll make a new folder. And we'll put them in there. And that's pretty much done. So we can go and take a look at these images now. If I tap to preview, there they are. Nice and sharp, zooming in. No crazy artifacts, nice and smooth. And the same thing with this one here. Oops, we'll go with that, and you can see that too. Absolutely smooth when you zoom in. So strongly encourage you to take this step if you've got access to Lightroom to create that sky mask, particularly if you have something in the horizon. Do a little bit of adjustment here with the settings panel, and then the last thing you do is to go and use that noise reduction, the artificial intelligence, the AI noise reduction, because the output is in fact amazing.